on prioritize breastfeeding, create sustainable support systems. This is Purnima, faculty member from the Department of Food Science and Nutrition of CMS College of Science and Commerce, Coimbatore. CMS College of Science and Commerce stands as a premier institution for higher education since its establishment in 1988 by the CMS Educational and Charitable Trust. Today, we all have gathered here to get enlightened by knowing the importance of breastfeeding. One song can change a moment, one idea can change the world, one step can start a journey, but a prayer can change the impossible. Let us start the session with a short prayer seeking the blessings of Lord Ganesha. वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं गुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वथा 90% of leadership is the ability to communicate something people want. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. T. Tilagavadi, Head, Department of Food Science and Nutrition, to welcome the gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Purnima. UNICEF strongly says the breastfeeding is not only the cornerstone of a child's healthy development, and it's also the foundation of a healthier and more sustainable future. A very warm and respectful welcome to everyone present here today. It gives me immense pleasure to greet you all as we come together for this national seminar on the theme Prioritize Breastfeeding, Create Sustainable Support System. On behalf of Department of Food Science and Nutrition, CMS College of Science and Commerce, I extend my heartfelt greetings to our dignitaries and our participants. First and foremost, I take a great honor in welcoming our respected principal, Dr. S. Vimalanand, the guiding force of our institution, whose vision continues to inspire us. Next, I am delighted to welcome Dr. S. Sandhya Menon, our CEO, whose leadership and encouragement are always been instrumental in our endeavors. It's my privilege to welcome Dr. V. Sujata, Vice Principal Administration, and Dr. P. Shalini, Vice Principal Academics, for their constant support and mentorship. I take pride in welcoming our guest of the day, Dr. Lata, Professor in Pediatrics from SSIMS Karnataka, who has graciously joined us to share her expertise on this vital topic. We are equally honored in welcome Ms. S. Subhashri, Advanced Lactation Enabler from Super Bottoms, whose experience and insights will add immense value to today's discussions. I also extend a warm welcome to my dedicated teammates, Mrs. R. Purnima, Ms. K. Asma, and Ms. G. Abhinaya, who have worked tirelessly to make this webinar a grand success. A special word of welcome to all the students and faculty members joining us from other colleges and from our own institution, as well as the participants representing NGOs and other organizations. Your presence adds richness to this platform and shared learning. As we begin the session, let us remember that breastfeeding is not just a mother's responsibility, but it's a collective commitment, a support system that involves families, healthcare providers, communities, and policymakers. Let this webinar be the catalyst for the stronger networks and sustainable practices. Once again, I extend a cordial welcome to each one of you. Let's embark this meaningful journey together. Over to you, Purnima.
I now invite Ms. K. Asma, faculty member, Department of Food Science and Nutrition, to introduce the guest of the first session.
Good morning, everyone. It's indeed an honor to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed Chief Guest, Ms. Shubhashri P. Ms. Subhashri is a graduate in engineering and management. She began her career as an ERP consultant, where she worked for over 5 years, demonstrating strong analytical and problem solving skills. Guided by her passion for maternal and child health, she transitioned into the field of lactation support and is currently working as a lactation consultant with the Superbottom team, where she helps and empowers mothers in their journey of motherhood. To further strengthen her expertise, she has successfully completed the Master's Certificate program in infant and young child feeding offered by the UNICEF and Cornell University. With her unique blend of technical knowledge and professional experience, Ms. Subhashri continues to play a significant role in promoting the breastfeeding and supporting sustainable childcare practices. We are privileged to have Ms. Subhashri with us and looking forward to her session. Over to your session, ma'am.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So I'll start presenting a PPT about breastfeeding and how you're going to support. So it can be you who are going to be a mother, or in your family, it can be your sister or your brother's wife, whoever it is. So having an awareness and having a knowledge is going to help us a lot, and not guilt tripping and being a support system for the mother. So this can be, or this will be useful for you when you become a mother, so you will have a more knowledge about it and how to move forward. So I'll start presenting a presentation. So at the end of the presentation, I'll have a Q&A session, so you can ask whatever doubts or whatever queries you have. I'll try to answer. So I'll just share my screen now.
Ma'am, are you facing any difficulties? Shall I
Hello.
screen the?
Yeah, I'll just share the screen now. Just 1 minute. So you're able to see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So we are going to talk about how we are going to help the mothers. It can be you or the family members with the latch, or however they want to feed. We are not going to guilt trip a mother, whether it's going to be a direct feeding or a bottle feeding or a formula. So we are going to be a strength for the community. So I'm going to cover what is actually breastfeeding. So how the milk production actually begins, because many has a doubt on this, and what is a myth, the fact, and how our breast milk composition is, and how we can do the different types of position that is there, and is there going to be any food restriction for you, and how we are going to have this milk supply, everything. So first slide, I'll start with what is breastfeeding. So generally, only we are called as a mammals. So every mammal breastfeed their kids once they born. It can be a dog, a cat, a fish, everything goes when the baby is born, they directly go to the mother for breastfeeding. That is a milk that is produced for your baby, and it is tailor made for your baby. So every breast milk composition of a mother changes. So for example, when a baby is born, you have a colostrum, then comes your milk. And suppose your baby is going to have a fever or cold or cough, your body starts producing an antibodies, and you can see your milk color turning a little of yellow or dark yellow. So those are the antibodies that your body is producing to fight against the baby's virus. So that's how our breast starts working. So when does this milk production actually begins? So the milk production kicks in, or the hormone starts getting ready in our body by around like 18 to 24 weeks, that is around the second trimester, our body starts getting ready for the milk production. By third trimesters, many mothers has a breast leakage or a hard breast, engorged breast, and some mothers do not have any of this. So when you're not having any of this, doesn't mean you're not having supply. So for each pregnancy, your breast works in a different way. So the mothers who are having hard breast, you can actually do some massages, or you can check with your gynac. They will recommend you what to do and how to proceed with it. And when does this milk comes out? So for example, when you start having a leakage, you will just saw a water kind of a liquid that comes, and then a thick yellow milk that is called as a colostrum. So when a baby is born, that's the first time when a baby is born. Generally, many hospital today starts giving skin to skin. If not, you can actually talk to your gynac before your delivery. What is their procedure? So you can ask them for a skin to skin. Skin to skin can be given by C-section as well as a normal delivery mothers. So once you start giving skin to skin, your body starts getting ready for the milk ejection. So that is called as oxytocin. So when oxytocin is called as a love hormone. So it helps in the milk to let down, and it helps your milk to come out as a let down where the baby can start sucking. So the colostrum is a very thick milk. So you cannot take the milk out by hand expression or by pumping. So nothing works there. So only when the baby suck, you get a milk. So which will be around like 3 to 5 ml in a day. So the next question the mother asks, will that be enough for my baby? Yes. First 24 hours, that is how their stomach will be. Not more than 5 to 6 ml they can take. So and the cholesterol is actually very thick. It has a very good fat, and antibodies are also present in it. So it helps your baby to start adjusting to our world. So that is how the first 2 days goes. By around 2.5 to 3 days, the hormonal milks comes in. So whatever milk that is present in your body, it starts coming out. So what to do in case of you are having engorgement? Latch the baby more. Let the baby come to your breast. So if you are going to have a latching issue on the day 1 or day 2, take a help immediately. You can go to a lactation consultant, or you can actually talk to your hospital nurse whether they have a lactation consultant who can help you. So start latching a baby. So, and today we have pumping everything that comes to our rescue. So, and the next question many mothers ask is, can I buy a pump and keep it with me in our delivery bag? So according to our Indian culture, generally pumping is not actually necessary during the first few weeks, that is first 8 weeks. Majorly the pumping or like a bigger savior for mothers who have premature delivery, a preemie baby, or a baby is having a palate problem or anything when born. For other mothers, when we say, they generally can start latching the baby. Initially, majority of the baby will have a latch issue because they are learning to suck the milk from our breast, and we are also learning with the baby how to hold them. So all these come together on the first, I'll say for at least the first 45 days. The next we are going to talk about myths and fact. So there are too many myths that comes with the breast milks. So first, there are many start restricting a mother, telling, so you're unwell, you have a cold, a cough, a fever, or whatever it is, you should not breastfeed the baby as it can transmit to the baby, which is actually not true. So when a mother is having a cold, cough, or fever, the virus is already in the body and it is actually has transferred to the baby, because the virus that comes out or that shows in you, it actually takes almost 24 to 48 hours for us to feel the virus, like cold or cough or fever. So before that, the baby is already affected by it. So our body will start producing antibodies. So when a mother should not breastfeed, so when a mother is having a chicken pox or a rashes on the breast, which are like lesions which spread only during that time, and that too on the breast or near the nipple, that's when we generally say the mother not to breastfeed. Other than that, the mother can always breastfeed the baby, whatever the situation is. And if you're going to take a medicine, kindly check with your doctor whether they are breastfeeding friendly. So next comes, there are many, and another custom is there when a mother take a bath, or let's say the mother is washing her hair, the next comes the whoever in the family, they start telling don't sit and feed the baby as the baby can get a cold, which is actually, there is no scientific fact proving it. Taking a head bath does not give you a cold. Having a curd, which many actually told me, can it affect the baby? No, you can have everything in a moderation. So you're taking a head bath or having a cold or having a curd, nothing affects your baby because the blood is converted into the milk and not your food. See, the next thing, when a mother is having a small breast, so everybody have a different breast. Even when we have a two breasts, both the breast will have a different size. So that doesn't mean you cannot have a proper supply. So the breast that we are seeing is just the outer layer. So inside we have a breast tissues, the nodes which help us to produce milk. So generally 99.5 percentage of the mother produce enough for the milk. Sorry, enough milk for the baby. The rest 5% comes under mothers who has went through chemo, who has breast reduction surgeries, and the mothers who are having any hormonal issues or diabetic or taking a medicine for thyroid, which are not breastfeeding friendly, can affect. Even for them, we have an alternate solution how to bring the supply. The other 99.5 mothers actually produce enough milk, but what happened, we have a constant pressure telling whether, and constantly we are being reminded that whenever a baby cry, is a mother having a proper supply? Is the mother milk is enough? Is the mother milk is watery? Those are the questions continuously when a mother is questioned. As already she is in a postpartum, we start actually doubting ourselves. And the second major role is formula. Yes, formula is useful and is like a big savior for many babies. But for majority of the babies and majority of the mother, they fall into a trap, which is called as a formula trap. So when we start giving a formula, we are actually reducing the breast milk, so which actually indirectly affect our supply. So under the guidance of a lactation, you're going to do it, you can see a difference in it. So why I say only lactation? Because not many pediatrician or gynecologist has much awareness how this lactation actually works. Because in our country, this lactation is a knowledge which is a very less even with the pediatricians. So today many pediatricians are coming forward to learn it and work with the lactation. And the next thing we see about the last myth is a mother should drink a more milk for her to produce more milk, which is a biggest myth, actually can affect the babies. So how it is going to affect the babies? Why? Because generally milk affect a mother, it can make a mother gassy. As well, when you drink 1 liter or a 1.5 liter of milk, it is going to make your baby gassy, colicky, uncomfortable. They can have a spit up. In some cases, it leads a baby to a lactose intolerance. But these things we actually assume drinking more milk is going to be good for you. No, it even makes the mother the most, we say, a gassy, and it can even cause constipation in the postpartum mothers. So next thing we are going to see about this fore milk and hen milk. So what is this fore milk and what is this hen milk? So fore milk or a watery milk, so which we can say it as a water that is need for a baby to quench their thirst. What is this hind milk? They are the thick fat which is going to quench their hunger. So how it actually works? So there is no magic point where a fore milk going to turn into a hind milk. So fore milk and hind milk or a combination or a continuous milk which is going to flow. So there is a major assumption that a baby should have a more of hind milk, which is actually a biggest myth. Baby need both fore milk and hind milk. That is why we say no water till 6 months. Baby should only be on the breast milk because the breast milk has sufficient water in it. So giving extra water can put more stress on their kidney. So that's why we say baby, doesn't need anything when a baby is breastfed or a formula fed, because both has almost like 80 percentage of the water. So foam milk also has a fat, hind milk has a majority of fat, but that does not mean fore milk is not having a fat. So foam milk and hind milk will run in a combination. So for example, the initial 10 minutes can be foam milk, then comes a hind milk, then comes a foam milk. So that's how a body gets the milk starts. So how does your body knows? When a baby latches, our body knows how much thirst a baby is having and how much hunger it has. That's how a body recognizes it. So let's see how the breast milk is combined. So this is how a breast milk combination is. You can see it has 86 to 88 percentage of water, then prebiotics. So whatever prebiotics you are going to take is going to like help your baby as well. For example, prebiotics like homemade curd, and you can take the fermented rice water. That is, whatever rice you're having in a day, you can put a water, add to it at the night, and keep it drinking. That water is a very good probiotic. Homemade pickles. And what are the prebiotics? Prebiotics are like bananas, onions, garlic. So these two things which help your baby's gut as well. And our breast milk has 4 percentage of fat, the carbohydrate, everything to it. So have everything in a moderation and don't eat anything in excess. So next we are going to see about different types of breastfeeding position. So the first one you see is a cradle hold, which many knows, and the cross cradle. So there is something called as a sideline position. There is a very big myth that comes with a sideline position where we say when a baby is breastfed in a sideline position by the mother, the baby can have a ear infection, which is a myth. So generally, we are lying down and baby is actually in the same position. Where you see baby is actually in a sideline position in all the 5 pictures. So we are going to lie down. So when can we start doing this sideline? If your baby is a full term, you can start doing a sideline position from day one. And what, how to burp the baby is the next question. So if the baby is not uncomfortable, is the baby is sleeping, let the baby sleep. Slowly tap their back, very slowly. And if you feel the baby is uncomfortable, you can take a help of another caregiver. You can ask your mother or your husband to burp the baby and let them give more of skin to skin to make the baby sleep. And next comes the football hold. So this football hold is very helpful for mothers who are having latching issues. So in that hold, generally babies open their mouth big and latch to the breast. And the last one is laid back. So when this laid back comes to a picture, so majority of mother has this let down issue. So what is let down? Where a milk starts spraying out. The baby cannot control the flow. They start choking with our milk, coughing while feeding. So in that time, this laid back position come to our rescue. So due to gravity, the milk spray slow down, which helps. So laid back and sideline both helps when a mother is having a fast ejection of milk. The next important thing is cluster feeding. So what is this cluster feeding is? So cluster feeding is a baby feeding continuously. So what happens? They feed for 1 or 2 hours, then take a break for 10-15 minutes. We put the baby down. They start crying, again ask for a milk. So this generally happens mainly 0 to 3 months, where they expect the warmth of our breast. So why it is breast? Because the first 3 months, our breast, the first milk that comes in the breast has a smell of the ammoniatic sac. So they feel they are inside the womb. Our breast has the smell of ammoniatic sac, which only the baby can smell. So they always, what happens, they actually actively feed for a few minutes, sleep for some time, then feed, then sleep. So how a new mother or a postpartum mother going to get rest when a baby is cluster feeding? So what we are going to do in this case, ask your husband who is going to help you. So the skin to skin, which we say is a great bond between a mother and a mother and the baby and the father. If you're going to have a sibling who's like elder, like 5 or 6 years old, even they can give. it actually improves the sibling bond. So this cluster feeding phase happen whenever the baby goes through a growth spurt, the regression, teething, sickness. So whenever they are going to be in a pain, uncomfortable, breast is their safe place. Breast is their comfort zone. So that's why we say give more of skin to skin. So skin to skin is going to help you as well as your baby a lot. And the next is about food restriction. So as I told before, have everything in a moderation. You can have a spicy chutney, your ice creams. So have junk as less as you can, even though you are breastfeeding or pregnant or non-pregnant. When it comes to a junk or a processed food or a fried food, have it in a limitation. Instead, have whatever it is there in your home. Eat everything in a moderation. Next question comes, can a mother take a protein powder while breastfeeding? So generally, I would not recommend taking a protein powder because it is going to affect your baby. It can make your baby gassy when the limit, like when it crosses a more. So always go for a natural proteins like paneer, soya, or a non-veg. Third thing, if you think you're having a low supply, what food can I take? You can have oats, you can have a garlic. Garlic are a very good milk boosters. You can take fennel, you can take dill leaves and dahlias. So these are a very good milk boosters which helps a mother to boost their milk naturally. And next questions, can I have ice cream? Which many mothers ask me. So I car, can I have some ice cream? Will the baby going to get a cold? No, you can have an ice cream. So your blood is going to convert into your milk, not your food. So have everything in a moderation. Even when it comes to spicy, for example, you're having a spicy food in the morning, maybe in the afternoon you can have some light food. You can have something that helps your stomach. So why we say to avoid spicy food for first 45 days, because your body is also recovering. So childbirth is something where our body goes to a complete 360-degree turn. So that body needs to recover. So for 9 months, our bodies, a baby was growing inside. So where a body has taken a 360-degree turn, our life has taken a 360-degree turn. So that's why we say generally to avoid spicy or junk food, have everything in a moderation. So the next slide is about a milk supply. So as I said, 99 percentage of the mothers or 95 percentage of the mother has enough milk. The 5 percentage of low milk, which is called as a primary low supply, that happens due to chemo, breast surgery, less breast tissues, which happens in the birth itself. So which is a very rare case that happens. And the hormones. So again, when we say hormones, it can be due to thyroid issues which you have or PCOD, which are actually reversible. But many mothers goes through this secondary low supply due to formula, latch issue, more of stress. So this is where we say a support system is needed for a mother from day one. A child is born, a mother is born. A helping hand, a support system that is needed for a mother to breastfeed the baby in a very calm and stress relieving environment. So when a mother is stressed, automatically the baby is stressed. So both attack the mother's body where the supply got affected. So and next is introducing bottle. So in many cases, bottle is actually a culprit because we have many bottle that design mimics the breast. So everything actually mimics the breast and not the breast. So bottle is having a one biggest disadvantage is without sucking the milk starts coming. In the breast, baby has to latch, suck, the milk comes. That doesn't happen with the bottle. But there are 5 percentage to 10 percentage of the baby differentiating between bottle and breast. But majority goes through the confusion. And next comes the hydration, where a mother should have at least 2.5 to 3 liters of water, the liquids which she needs to breastfeed, and not a supportive environment that is constantly bothering a mother whenever a baby cries, whenever a baby is fuzzy, always telling the milk is not enough. I think your milk is watery. I think the baby is not getting enough, we have to start formula or whatever it is. Let the mother start enjoy the journey. Let us be a very good support system for her to enjoy this journey with the baby. And then next is a last one. So what is this false alarm? So as I said, baby's mode of communication is crying. They doesn't know how to talk. So they cry for hunger is what we think. No, they cry being uncomfortable, to sleep, for comfort. The initial 3 4 months they cannot control their body. So when you touch a baby, their head will be hot or warm. Their fingers and toes will be so cold, and their body will be in another temperature. So they cannot control the temperature in the body, so they are always fuzzy and they always expect a warmth. And then a mother is not having a hard breast, is not having a letdown, doesn't mean a low milk supply. So every mother has a different breast, different tissues. So don't compare it. And the next thing that many say is about, so when I hand express or when I press and see, I'm not able to see a milk. No, you cannot see a milk. So once a baby feed, you're going to press, you cannot see any milk. So our body is like a factory producing milk continuously. In fact, the breast are not empty. Our breast always has a milk to it. So what we are going to do? Don't hand express. So when you are going to hand express, there are methods how to do it. So you have to massage your breast, then start hand expressing. Again, we have something called pumping. So many mothers randomly pump when there is no milk output or you're getting just 10 ml, they start doubting it. So I just got 10 ml, so that means I'm not having enough supply. No, pumping actually works in completely different concept. And pump can only drain, even the best pumps where we go for a high-end hospital grade pumps, it can drain only 60 to 70. When we come to a medium grade pumps, it can drain only 30 to 40. So only a baby can completely drain your breast, drain in the sense the first set of letdown. Once that is going to get over, our body sends the other set of the letdown. So it continuously, the milk always will be there in your breast. So don't doubt it. Whenever you have a doubt or whenever you are stressed, kindly talk to a person who is certified or who has a very good knowledge, who does not guilt you or who does not judge you. Talk to them to overcome it. So that's it from my end. So whatever doubts or whatever questions you have, for sure you can ask me.
That was really a wonderful, informative session, ma'am.
Thank you.
I request the participants to ask their queries. So now the session is open for questions. You can also use chat box. Participants, you can unmute yourself. If you have any queries, you can ask Subhashri ma'am. And even if you don't want to ask it, you can just post your query in the chat box.
So, Purna, if there is no questions from the participants, we can take they have understood everything clearly. You can proceed to
Yes,
the
ma'am.
next
Okay.
section.
Okay, ma'am. Before I invite Ms. Asma ma'am to introduce the speaker of the next session, let us know about the Kranti that we are in need of in today's scenario of unhealthy food habits. Yes, Kranti is revolution, and we are in a position to have revolution over our food. It's Aahaar Kranti. Aahaar Kranti is a movement focused on raising awareness about the importance of balanced, nutritious diet particularly emphasizing the role of local fruits and vegetables. It's launched by Vijnana Bharati Vibha and Global Indian Scientists and Technocrats Forum GIST. It aims to address the dual problem of hunger and disease prevalent in many parts of the world. The motto of Aahaar Kranti is Uttam Aahar, Uttam Vichar, meaning good diet, good cognition. It's now time to invite Ms. Asma ma'am to introduce the speaker of the next session. Over to you, Asma ma'am.
Thank you, Purnima ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my great pleasure to introduce today's distinguished chief guest, Dr. Lata G.S. Dr. Lata holds an ABBS MD and DCH Fellowship in Pediatric Epilepsy from the United Kingdom. She is currently serving as a professor in pediatrics at SSIMS and RC, Devangari, Karnataka. She has held several prestigious positions, including past president of the IAP, Devanagari District Branch, vice president of the Central Zone Karnataka IAP branch, and vice president of the Central Zone Karnataka IYCF chapter. She is also an IYCF national trainer, contributing immensely towards child health and nutrition initiatives at both regional and national level. With her vast academic experience, leadership, and dedication to pediatric care, Dr. Lada continues to inspire both medical profession and students alike. We are truly honored to have her with us today. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Lada Chias. Over to your session, ma'am.
Thank you, Asma, for the nice introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, at the outset, I would like to thank the. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers, Dr. Tilagavati Tangavel, principal, and also Purnima and other members who have been involved in this journey of nutrition, pediatric or journey of child nutrition. I would like to thank them for giving me this opportunity to share on this platform. So you have listened to the. Can you share the slide? Can you see my slides?
No, ma'am. We are not able to see your slides, ma'am.
Okay. 1 second.
Ma'am, if you want us to cast the PPT,
Yes.
we will also do it.
Yeah, sure.
Asma ma'am, can you please help out with sharing the PPT?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. I'll share from my end.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವರೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Yeah, just before that is cleared, we'll start with the topic. Today is breastfeeding and beyond. See, always we talk about the when the newborn is born, breastfeeding is the best. Just now we listened to Shubhashri, and it was a wonderful presentation. Now you can view the slides.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That means, see, we know the journey of breastfeeding. That is, once a child is born, newborn is born, uh, immediately after birth. That is, we have to initiate early breastfeeding, and breastfeeding should continue till 6 months. Exclusive breastfeeding, that is, the baby doesn't need any water or any other substitutes, only the breast milk. The mother has that inherent capacity of producing the breast milk for her, even twins and triplets as well. So that God has given that power for the woman to feed and nurture her child. So after the first 6 months, when we keep talking about exclusively breastfed, and what about the next, once the child is growing, what we need to do? These are the questions comes up, and usually some of the mothers are, especially primary mothers, and nowadays when we have lost that environment of having a uh, joint family, so nobody is there to suggest, so most of them go for this Google, and they get the information from there which might be wrong, and sometimes they end up having problems. So let us talk about, because already I've listened to the breastfeeding, I'm not going into the uh, depth of it. Already Subhashri has discussed very well. So what happens, why breastfeeding?
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Yeah, one second. Okay, stop sharing ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಮ್ಮ. Can you hear me now? Next.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Now it is clear?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay. So what are the guidelines? Indian Academy of Pediatrics has done certain guidelines for the parents, like what we need to feed. So which is known for the complementary feeding, we call it as feeding of an infant beyond 6 months of age. So until the baby completes first 6 months, completion of 6 months, and once the baby is started with the seventh month of journey of life, so that time, that is the best time to introduce complementary feeding. So what is this complementary feeding? Complementary feeding is only the breast milk, that is exclusive breastfeeding is adequate for baby till 6 months of life, as we know this. After the age of 6 months, breastfeeding alone is no longer enough for optimal growth and development of the child. So infant and young child feeding practices, or IYCF what we call, so that is the nutrition for the child. So what it says is, after completion of 6 months, the baby should be introduced with the homemade foods. Hence, it is necessary to start the complementary feeding along with breast milk. And in the past, we used to call it as weaning. We had to wean from the breast milk. That means the people used to think that we have to completely stop the breast milk and start the babies on the other foods. So the word weaning is now replaced by complementary feeding. That means we are complementing the feed, breastfeed, by giving other foodstuffs, because the child is growing now, the child needs more food. The process of introduction of suitable semi-solid food at the right age. Because it's very important, because the critical window period, what we call it as first initial 2 years, because the majority of the growth and development of a child is concerned. The concept of 1,000 days, or else we can say 1,000 days is 9 months of pregnancy plus first 2 years of life, during which optimal breastfeeding for first 6 months of age and timely and appropriate complementary feeding at 6 months of age are extremely very important, very crucial, because the child has to learn walking, jumping, running, jumping, so all the cognitive development as well, and also the baby should start talking. So all this will come with a good nutrition. That is also very important. So this not only constitutes once the child is born, the concept of 1,000 days, that is even the nutritional status of the mother is also very important. when to start? Why we have to start complementary feeding and why? Already, as I said, the child is growing, the growing child needs more food. So, the introduction of complementary feeding around 6 months is ideal time, or it is a sensitive period, we can call it as, because the child starts developing. They also starts developing by this time biting movement of the jaw, which appears around 5 months of age, and the child also develops the head control, and they have some hand to mouth coordination. The child starts keeping something inside the mouth and also starts enjoying mouthing and biting, and by 6 to 7 months swallowing of solid food occurs, and also they'll have that side to side movement of the tongue which develops by around 8 to 12 months, and intestines matures and ready to digest whatever we are giving like pulses and cereals what is being given to the baby. And they also like chewing and gumming semi solids, as they're because they'll be having now the teeth also starts erupting and they'll be having so much of pain. Gum will be gets hardened and eruption of teeth will be there. So this movement of the tongue which allows the baby to push the solids out of the mouth as well. So these are the things which makes very important to for the baby to ಕಾವ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲೋದ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಮ್ಮ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತನಾರು ಹೇಳು. Okay, so the baby to push the solids into the mouth. So that is the, so you can, because of all this development, the baby is ready to eat food. So this is the time. Even in I think in Kannada, I don't know whether there's a proverb is there, annaprashanam they'll start, isn't it, at the age of 6 months. So that is the time. Even in our culture also it is there, that is at the 6 months we start feeding these babies, which is very very important. And these are the scientific evidence I can give you that telling that the baby is growing at this. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇದೀಗ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? So what are the important? Sorry for the interruption. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದು ಈಗ. So what are the important attributes of the complementary feeding? So what we need to think about. So we know that after 6 months the baby should be started on the complementary feeds. So what we need to keep in mind while starting on the complementary feeding. It should be easily available and it should be very clean and safe, because we are giving it to the babies and babies are at risk of having infections and illness. So it should be very clean and safe, and it should be less time consuming for cooking. See, if a mother should not spend more time in cooking and making any special feeds for these babies, so it should be less time consuming, and it should be affordable, and nutritive value of the food as per the requirement of the growing child. So it should be very nutritive, so that it should meet the requirement of a growing child, and it should be from the regular family food, locally available, and culturally it should be acceptable, and it should be easily digestible, and it should be nutritive. Consistency keeps on varying as the child grows. Initially you'll be giving a in the porridge form or liquid form, and then you can change it to like a in a mash form we can give, and we can small pieces we can cut into small pieces, and as the child grows, as the child matures, we can start changing the consistency, and also variety of food and frequency should change as the child grows. And another important point you need to keep in mind is after the illness, these principles of there are that more fluids to be encouraged, so by giving breastfeeding and to eat soft. And another thing I would like to mention is that complementary feeding means we should not stop breastfeeding. Breastfeeding should be continued till 2 years of age, because as we know that growing child needs increasing amount of food. Why, if I add, if some mothers will come and say like, because my as Subhashri was mentioning, most of the mothers, the common problem with the mothers is my child is not growing, my child is not gaining weight, so I feel that my breast milk is not sufficient, so I want to start on other feeds. By adding foods too soon, that is before 6 months, what happens? So the it takes the place of breast milk, so baby starts suckling less at the breast. As the baby suckles less on the breast, less milk is produced. So it instead of breast milk, the baby is getting other feeds. So this results in a low nutrient diet that we will in the next few slides I'll show you like how breast milk is very important even after 6 months. So it results in a low nutrient diet, one thing, and also it increases the risk of illnesses like because it has less protective factors. Breast milk has got all the antibodies, and Shubhashri mentioned that even if mother is having illness and she can produce antibodies, which these antibodies indirectly it goes to the baby through breast milk. These things will be replaced by other foods when we are giving. So indirectly the mother is if even if she has infection, she will protect her child. It doesn't mean that they have to stop breastfeeding. So increased risk of illness, less protective because it contains less protective factors. Other foods are not as clean, even though they keep on telling, because we know like it's very difficult to counsel the mothers telling that no, I keep so much cleanliness, I take care of all this sterilization, that this and blah blah blah, they talk about, but still there will be risk of infection. Difficult to digest certain foods which we are not aware of, so that will be introduced to the child and that can cause all these problems. So and it is if too early giving this, there will be rich in proteins and higher proteins which cannot the body cannot or the gut cannot digest this. As the baby grows only the gut gets this thing matured, and easily any foods given can be digested. So to starting too early, these are the problems can start. And also another thing is we know that breast milk has got a protective protection for mothers as well. It is not only protecting the baby, it also has got so many advantages for the mother that we need to see, because nowadays the cancer is increasing so much. So in the with the breastfeeding, the there's a reduced risk of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer in the mother. Not only it has got advantages to the mother, to the family, to the society as well. And it also has got, it is one of the natural contraceptive we say, as long as the mother is breastfeeding, she never becomes pregnant. She can't become pregnant sooner if she is completely feeding the baby. So there is risk. Other things I don't want to discuss this at this point, but this increases if the mother starts food early, that replaces the breast milk and mother can become pregnant soon. If the mother starts food late, what happens? So the child does not, because the child is in the growing phase, requirement goes up, and breast milk is not sufficient that to meet the requirement of a growing child. So child does not receive nutrients which are needed, and growth and development slows down or it might stop. Or risk of deficiencies. So many other deficiencies can happen, and that can result in malnutrition, and also child can become frequently infected or illness can happen, and this increases the risk of ill health. So how we need to program for complementary feeding? What are the things we expect, like like what are the guidelines for the process? So like the babies can swallow this time. We can't give hard foods. It should be in semi-solid in consistency to start with at 6 months of age, and it should be home-based food. Family pot feeding we call it as, whatever the family is preparing at home, the same food can be given to the babies. Let us talk about the consistency later. Enhance, how we can enhance the nutritive value of these foods, of traditional complementary foods. So you in the I think every household they will start with the ganji porridge, and here in and around Davangere we have ragi. So usually we'll start with the ragi porridge. So to enhance the nutritive value, you can add ghee, oil, especially nowadays even the Kerala and all they tend to add coconut oil. Coconut oil is very good because it contains medium chain triglycerides which is easily absorbed. And cereal and pulses mixtures, they make this nutritive powder using all jowar, godi, wheat, and bajra, all this lentils, legumes, pulses, they mix and they make it a powder, and that can be offered to the baby. Add a little vegetable oil for increasing the energy density. As I said, usually coconut oil can be used. Add green leafy vegetables for vitamins and iron, because the babies require vitamins as well. So green leafy vegetables will increase the iron content in the food. And also to enhance their absorption, we can use some vitamin C rich foods. Do not eat excessively, then we do not excessively thin weaning food. The another thing is, when we are preparing the ganji or porridge, we should know the consistency of the feeds are also very, very important. So the mother might say, I might be giving a bowl of ganji, but that is not enough. We need to see the consistency as well. I'll show you the picture how the consistency should be. So next, what are the things we need to, other features for programming the complementary feeding? Ensure appropriate frequency of feeding, that is at least 4 to 6 times in the first year. I'll show you the this thing as well, table as well, how many times the baby should be fed. Increasing the amount per feed gradually. By 1 year of age, the child should roughly eat half the amount that the mother consumes. So it's a growing child, so the baby needs more. As the child grows, the quantity also should be increased, and not only the quantity, quality of the food also should be increased, so that it is more nutritive. And ensure hygienic preparation. Not only that, see, after preparation we should see that it is hygienically prepared and also stored in a separate container, and it should be covered, and whenever the child needs, we can give. So you usually ensure the hygienic preparation and storage as well. Continue breastfeeding along with this, and continue feeding during and after. That is another very, very important point, which we tend to miss that, because after the illness anyway the baby's appetite would have gone down, but it regains once we start feeding. So it will take 1 or 2 days to get back their original appetite. Some of the mother thinks that baby is not feeding well, and they stop feeding as well, and this is the thing, and children will go for malnutrition or underweight. And this is another picture to show where we have to, we can see that where there is a balanced diet. So all the foodstuffs, we can't see, the child can't eat all these things. Balanced diet, like already as a dietitians, you're aware of what is balanced diet means. But one of the things that which we can try to include in our day-to-day food, where we can feed the children, is this is one key, which includes the all the ingredients are there, whatever we suggest, like it contains oil, it contains milk, it contains dry fruits and other stuffs, which makes a one example I'm giving, like a balanced diet. So we should be aware of again and again that growing child needs increasing amount of food. Sorry, it is a repetition of the slide. So after the 6 months, how we need to know that the child is having, see, this is the age, very important, because if the child has not been given sufficient food, as the growing child requires more, you can see in the growth chart, always it is important to see that, because every mother will be having now tai card, we call it as in our this thing, every mother's and baby's card will be there. So in that, there is a very important thing is, when they go for immunization, when they check their weight, and if their weight is going down, we need to think something has gone wrong there, and we need to give counsel these mothers for finding out what nutrition or what food the child is getting, what is happening with the child's nutritional status. So as I said, you might ask the question, like you say, like breast milk is complete and breast milk is there, and why we need to start again after 6 months, we need to start giving complementary feed. As we can see this in the graph, there's an energy gap you can see. So the first 6 months, the energy is being provided only by the breast milk. See that all the energy requirement of the child is met by the breast milk. So as the child grows, you can see there's an energy gap of 200 calories after 6 to 9 months. That energy gap need to be filled up by giving the complementary appropriate frequency and with proper consistency according to the age of the child should be given at this age. So you can see as the child grows, the with the breast milk alone, if the only the mother has continued with the breast milk, so with the breast milk alone, the energy gap keeps on increasing. This can affect the growth of the child, development of the child. So this child can go for undernutrition and underweight, and with the underweight, their nutritional status will go down, and it's a vicious cycle. So these children are more frequently having illnesses, and again they'll be affected with their growth and development. And another thing we need to consider is, so why can't I give more feeds when my child is taking more? So what has to be done? Why I kept on telling, like, we have to enhance the uh, quantity, not only quantity, quality of the feeds. See, the quantity should be smaller, quality of that food should be very, quality is very, very important, because you can, as you can see, the size of the stomach is only 200 ml. Because we have seen some mothers telling that, oh, my baby is not feeding well, my baby, by she would have filled the baby's tummy with the some other feeds, sugary drinks or whatever, only with the water. So if the feeds are very thin, so that does not meet the nutritional requirement of the child. So we need to consider, even the tummy size is very 200 ml. So we need to give this 200 ml capacity of food which are very nutritive in that during this period. Why this is repetition is there? Kavya, ಅದೇ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅದೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಯಾಕೆ. So I was talking about the thickness of the feed. So this thickness is very, very important, because see this, as you can see in the picture there, in one spoon, if it is too thin, the porridge, it will run off from the spoon, and it should not, it should stay on the spoon. That is the right consistency the child should be fed with. As I said, if this too thin porridge is given to the child, I showed the stomach size, that the baby's stomach will be filled with only with the water which is too thin and watery, porridge will be filled with. Whereas if you give the thick consistency, the consistency which is shown on the this picture, so the consistency of the porridge when you're preparing, the mother should see that it should be like this, so that it should not fall off easily, it should stay on the spoon. So this consistency will fill the baby's tummy, and that is ideal for the baby. And how to enrich this food? As I said, only the small amount of food you're giving to the baby. So to enrich this food, you can use oil, especially as I said, you can use coconut oil or butter or ghee. Those will enrich the food what we are giving. The another important thing we need to keep in mind is when we are breastfeeding. So breast milk has got enough iron, which is very well absorbed. The complete absorption of iron takes place. Whatever the iron content is there in the, and it also depend upon the stores of the mother as well. Whatever the mother has iron stores, that will be transferred to the baby. So as you can see, it is same. The amount of iron which is present in the breast milk is same. After 6 to 9 months, this iron gap, you can see the white gap there. So iron from, this is from iron from birth. Okay, iron from the breast milk, you are getting this much amount of iron throughout 12 to 24 months. It is not changed. But as the child is growing, the requirement goes up, and these micronutrient deficiencies are very important nowadays, because we are concentrating only on the quantity of the food, but we need to consider these vitamin deficiencies are very, very important. So after 6 to 9 months, the baby requires iron. So what is the thing we need to do? We need to see that the food contains iron rich foods. What are these iron rich foods? What are the iron rich foods? So iron rich foods are, sorry, green leafy vegetables. To fill up these gaps, so any food the mother is preparing, she can start adding green leafy vegetables to the food. To enhance the iron absorption, as you all know, it requires vitamin C. So we should give vitamin C rich foods as well. So the food should include vitamin C rich foods, so that will help in the absorption of iron. And animal foods, if the mother is giving, if they are non-vegetarians, if they can offer this foods rich in proteins, iron, zinc, and vitamin A. So, like milk, fish, and yogurt, all these things can be given to butter, cheese, which are rich in vitamin A and calcium, can be given to the baby. So that also we should say that animal foods, if the mother is giving, they are good. These animal foods are very special foods that needs to be continued. And legumes or foods rich in protein and iron, as I said, lentils, chickpeas. So usually they've got the habit of the mixing all this lentils and other pulses, and they'll make it a powder and offer it in the form of ganji. And other, we can use this things in the foodstuffs. Vitamin C rich foods, as I said, we should know what are which vitamin C rich foods, like especially yellow colored foods or red colored foods like oranges, lemon, tomatoes, papaya. All these are very rich in vitamin C. These are very good because they help in the absorption of iron. As you all saw in the graph there, there's a iron gap. Also, this is another uh, gap where we can see vitamin A. If the babies are only on breast milk, so as the baby grows after 6 to 8 months, you can see the gap of vitamin A here. Up to 5 months or up to 6 months, vitamin A is sufficient for the baby. So this is also again depends upon the maternal storage. So this will be transferred to the baby through breast milk, and this is sufficient up to 6 months. Even though majority after like nearly more than two-thirds of the vitamin A requirement of the baby is met by the breast milk, but still the gap exists. So these gaps needs to be filled by the complementary feeding. Another thing I would like to insist here is, see, all the foodstuffs we can't provide to the baby to fill the gap. So breast milk also has got a role which fills up to certain extent. So breast milk should be continued beyond 6 months. So vitamin A rich foods, like pumpkin, carrot, yellow sweet potato. So if they are preparing that, that can be mashed and mixed with the rice or whatever staple food the family is having, that can be mixed and given. The babies can be offered to give this papaya, spinach, mango, according to the season wise fruits can be given. And it should be, so how to feed these babies. The another question comes now is how to feed these babies. This should be very responsive feeding. Some of the mothers have got, there are three types of families usually we see and we come across is some mothers, they have got the habit of feeding very forcibly. They'll be feeding their babies. They want, they'll take some amount, they want that full amount to be completed by the baby. That is not, that is not a good way of feeding the baby. And other people, some of them, they'll just leave it on themselves for the baby to eat, and they don't get involved at all. Some of the mothers, they do this. That is also not good, because if the babies have got many less motor skills, I know babies have to learn, they have to learn how to eat. That is first thing is they should learn, because this is a new thing. From the, there'll be transition from breast milk to the solid foods, what we are introducing. As I said, they develop all these skills. This is a new skill the baby has to learn. So once you start introducing that, it takes a little bit of time for the baby to swallow and learn the skill, because they have to push back the solids into the back of the tongue to swallow. So that comes only after 8 to 9 months. So only that time only little bit of solids can be introduced. Before that we can give it in the form of semi solid thing. So now we can start breaking into small pieces, and that can be offered. As you can see in the picture, it should be very responsive feeding. The baby is also offering, and also the parent should learn the cues of hunger and some signals what the babies make, whether they need food. So that should be the idea of this one. So how we need to feed, it should be a very responsive involvement. The family should get involved and have a ideal situation where everybody sitting on the table. So that will be the best time we can feed. We can have that time on the table, sitting, everyone sitting on the dining table and feeding. If other younger elder child is there, means that child also should sit along with this younger child, so that the younger child learns from looking at the other child. So this is a frequency and amount of foods, how it should be given. This is one of the guide. So by 6 months, 2 times per day plus frequent breastfeeds can be given. Start from 2 to 3 tablespoons initially to start with, and later on gradually it can be increased. And after 7 to 9 months, 3 times per day plus frequent breastfeeds, and increasing gradually to 2/3 or 250 ml of cup. You should have a measurement of that cup to show the mother while you're counseling the mother, so the how much amount to be given to the child. 9 to 11 months, one snack in between. 3 meals plus one snack, and the katori should be like or 3/4 of the katori or 250 ml of cup. And 12 to 24 months, 3 meals plus two snacks. So this should keep on increasing. So now you can it'll go up to full 250 ml of cup. So this is how frequency and amount of food to be given. And one of the example I can show you here is, so you can see the energy provided by the breast milk and proteins, vitamin A, vitamin C. So the breast milk contains lot of vitamin C, which is sufficient. There's no gap here. So gap to be filled by the complementary feeding is iron, vitamin A, protein and energy. So that we need to see. Okay, here is one of the example. Just quickly I'll go through this. So the nutrient needs with 3 meals. This child is around 7 to 8 months because the child is getting 3 meals. So this boy is around 12 months. So he needs 3 meals and two snacks according to the table what we saw. How frequently the feeding should be given. You can see what the child is having. He is having 3 meals and without snacks. And when the graph is taken, you can see that energy level still there's a little bit of energy gap is there, and iron is not met. So vitamin A, so the vitamin A levels are fine. So with the amount of food the child is receiving, these are the things, but still there's a gap. How we can fill this gap? What has to be done to fill this gap? So here you can see there's some snacks has been added, like banana or a piece of bread. So with that, you can see that the energy gap is filled. So this is what you should advise mothers or parents. What has to be given, how much has to be given, what is the frequency, what should be the consistency. So, and it should be variety of foods. So it is not just some of the things, and you should know that because the child doesn't know initially. As I said, the child should be made to learn how to take food. So if you keep something in the mouth, definitely they will spit it out or vomit it out. If you're forcing, they'll definitely they'll vomit it out. So the child should be given a variety of foods, and you should have lots of patience when you're introducing food, and it will take 1 or 2 days time for the child to get adjusted as well. Don't think that if the child vomits it out, that the child doesn't like it or anything, and the parents think that, oh, child is not liking anything, child is not eating anything. So, and also your food should include variety of foods so that the child learn all these things to eat. So if we give nutrient needs with foods and snacks but no breast milk, as I said, breast milk also provides some amount of energy gap can happen when you're not providing breast milk. See, energy levels are not met with. So that can be completed by the breast milk. So along with the complementary feeds, the importance of giving the breast milk you need to know. Every time my this slide is popping up, so growing child needs increasing amount of food, that we all should know that we keep increasing the food. Another thing is record the following. When the child comes uh, the for the immunizations, and you should know how long. See, this is our professor, he keeps on telling the mother 6 months to give 6 months for breastfeeding, and after 6 months start on complementary feeding. Instead of telling that, look at the date of birth, and when is the child completing 6 months, you can write till exclusive breastfeeding up to 1908. For example, I'm just giving, so extended breastfeeding up to 2004. That means the child is, the mother has been told to continue breastfeeding up to 2 years. Up to 6 months, we have given the date. Till then, mother should give exclusive breastfeeding. This is one of the way to make understand the mother. Okay, what are the practical consideration? It's very important. We should know the viscosity, flavor, aroma, because children also love all these things. Texture also important. Sometimes when it is very hard for the child to eat, if you're giving that, and if the child is spitting out and you think that the child does not like the food and child is not eating, these are some of the difficulties we come across. So all these things we need to keep in mind. So what are the challenges we come across? Usually these are the things which mothers usually, just I'll give you the I'll pose some challenges and what are the solutions for it. After starting some food, because the risk of infection will be there. Because as I said, that to maintain the sterilization, it's very, very difficult. So it can cause diarrhea. So what we need to do is solution for it is we need to improve the hygiene status. So weanling diarrhea, we call it as, that is because from the transition to the breast milk to this, so because of the oral phase also has developed, the child tends to put all the things in the mouth, and this risk of infection and diarrhea will be there. And as this is a time where the teething starts, and we need to tell the mother, that we need to educate the mother, because the kept mouthing will be very frequent, and that also can cause uh, diarrhea in children. Muttu dosha we call. This is in Karnataka. It's very common, or even in Tamil Nadu also might be there. Muttu dosha means that any menstruating woman, if they touch these children, they'll tend to go down in their weight. They'll weight will get affected. So this is very misconceptions we have. So we need to do counseling regarding this. This is not to do with any menstruating woman touching these children or handling these children. This is with the importance of not giving importance to the dietary thing what the child needs. And evil eye, this is another thing we come across commonly. So we need to counsel these mothers. This is our professor Dr. Nirmala Kesri, who has done a lots of work on nutrition. She is no more, but we continue with her legacy, continue with this nutrition. She was very fond of children nutrition, and she has done a lot of work, and we have a Davangere mix, unique mix, which is being provided for all these malnourished children. In the past, we used to see lots of children who used to come with malnutrition, with severe malnutrition and kwashiorkor. They used to get admitted to our nutritional rehabilitation center, which was one of the center. I'm really proud to say that throughout the whole South India, one was in Madurai and next was in Davangere. Now every state, I think they have come out with, all the government hospitals have come out with nutritional rehabilitation center. Our center here, we do Davangere mix. Davangere mix is a thing which we do with groundnut, uh, like roasted Bengal gram, jaggery, and ragi powder. So all equal constituents we take. If 1/4 kilo, if we take all 1/4 kilo of all these four ingredients, and we'll make a small laddu, and this is given to the children, which provides 100 gram laddus will give around 300 kilocalories and 3.3 grams of proteins. So it is very, very important to do this. This only for the children who are 1 year and above, where they can hold these laddus and they can eat it. And this is one of the way we used to provide in NRC. Below 6, now what I started doing is below 1 year, it's very difficult to eat laddus and all. So we'll make this powder and we'll give it to the mother. That can be mixed in the milk and given to the children. So if the child is vomiting, understand the child behavior, that you're forcing too much of food, and so the child might be vomiting. And if it is induced vomiting, that some children have got the habit of putting the hand and they will start vomiting. So for that we need to have some patience. And dislike food. So if the child is not liking food, that also we need to learn the feeding skills. So this is how the mother should be very interactive and have a separate container for the baby, and it should be fed, so that we know how much quantity the child is taking. And very responsive feeding, that means looking at the child, engaging the child, encouraging, assisting. See, the child can't hold the spoon. As the child matures by 15 months, we can ask them to give, by 9 months we can start with the finger feeds, like by giving like carrot sticks or cucumber sticks, so that the child can eat on its own, keeping in the mouth. And by 15 months they can use spoons as well, even though they are messy and spilling. It's important, we need to allow them to learn. And respiratory infections are very common at this page, at this age. So we can avoid irritants. Cold, again, same thing. So this is the thing we need to know. So what are the other solutions? See, as the child can feed, as the child grows, child can take everything into the mouth. Child can be allowed to feed on themselves. This is also very important thing we need to tell the mother. Feeding behavior of infants and young children build mother's capacity. Sometimes some children are different. All children are not same. And during illness, again, we need to encourage the mothers to continue with the feeding, so that whatever the nutrition the child has lost during the illness, the child has to gain back that one. Following illness, again, IYCF counseling, what we say, and see how happily the child is enjoying. It should be enjoyable for both for the mother and the baby. And Some dietary restrictions they do, because especially following the illness, that should not be done. So we need to give some health education, and there are some misbeliefs. We need to remove those misconceptions. And too many directors, that means too many people giving advice, like a grandmother, grandparents, and also the neighbors, like this, we need to first, we need to focus on the mother and tell that what has to be done, which what is right for the baby. So in that situation, mother becomes totally confused. So we need to build her capacity by counseling. Can see some photos there. So if the growth faltering is happening, so we need to do the growth monitoring by using the growth charts, as I showed one. Toddlers behavior, we need to understand them. We have to have very patience. Mother's perceptions also we need to understand, and we need to build a confidence, and grandparents perceptions of any misconceptions that needs to be cleared. Okay, this is how the growth chart should look like. The child should be, even in this way, the child should grow and develop as well. So this is one of the picture where we can see, like in the growth chart, if you plot the growth chart correctly, whenever the child comes for immunization, that is the right time the child can grow on the line. That should be, it should be trajectory line. It should be going up. It should not come down. So this is infant and young child feed. You can see this line graph which indicates that the child up to 3.5 months, when they come for immunization, all the children should be weighed and children should be plotted on the growth charts. That gives you an overview of the child, how the child is growing, what is happening, how this child being fed. And the third DPT, when the mother comes, DPT is the one, isn't it, third dose. When the mother comes for DPT, another T for mother is copper T. So this is the best time to introduce copper T for the mother, so that she can delay the pregnancy, and also this child can grow well. As you can see how this graph look like. So complementary feeding skills are, we need to encourage self-feeding, not to dominate food intake, avoid force feeding, respect choice, baby-led. That means the baby has to show the interest, avoid gifts for feeding. That is another important thing. If you eat this much, I am going to give this. Don't do that bribery. Don't give any gifts, but it should be self-led. And complementary feeding skills, we need to have, it is a pleasure time both for the mother and the baby, not a war time. So they should not fight, like mother will be running around the baby and feeding them forcibly. That should not be like a, and mother gets tired also, and she keeps telling, oh, this is a big task I'm going to have. To feed him itself is such a difficult, they say. This is what commonly we come across, but requires time and patience. We need to know that. Avoid screen time. See, most of the mothers, they'll be feeding their babies, putting the screen on, using the mobile, and putting some cartoons there, and only this, the child will feed only if this is shown. See, some mothers we have seen, they are very strict about it. They avoid the screen, and the baby learns whatever you teach them. And this is very common. And child feeding is a common sense feeding. It is not just like you have to learn everything. So you should have a good, you have to play a good role here. And what about the role of commercial foods? They are easily available, isn't it? And it's very easy to give. And so many times we have seen that mothers going out off the counter and buying this, especially in and around Davangere. We don't encourage any of the mothers to give any breastfeeding or sorry, any of these commercial foods which are available in the market, we never prescribe. So they are expensive. Not only expensive, the preservatives which are kept added to this commercial foods, that can affect the growing child, because the maximum period of brain growth takes place for these children is within 2 years. Two-thirds of the adult size of head growth happens during this period. So it's very, very important to see that these children should not be given any of this, like Cerelac and other foodstuffs which are available commercially. And so there are some ethical issues are also involved in relation to the feeding. So age-old beliefs and confusions, whether to give this or not. Whether if I give some curd, the child will catch up with the cold. If I give banana, the child will have cold. If I give milk, the child will have cough. So these are some of the confusions, misbeliefs, and misconceptions are there. So these are again further strengthened by unethical, biased, uncontrolled, and unscientific marketing practices. Especially it is on the television most of the time. So many multinational commercial companies which have come up, especially Nestle and others who have coming out with this products, and they say like it is equivalent to breast milk. So nothing can replace breast milk. Now see, the God has given that. We are we can't go against nature. So this is one thing we need to know. So the God has given. He has, when the some new thing is coming to the world, newborn is coming to the world, that newborn has been given everything to sustain his life or his or her life in to this world. So why we have to look for other alternatives? So it's all breast milk. The God has given the breast milk, best breast milk to the mother. So we need to have mom made, not the man. This thing, MOM, we call it as. So mom made, that is breast milk. So that should be given to the child. So we should not go by this advertisements. And majority of our most, I think, Indian Academy of Pediatrics, it has taken up very seriously, and we have introduced the IMS Act, that is Infant Milk Substitute Act, and any doctors who are prescribing, they'll be penalized, and we can't do all these things. There's nothing to replace breast milk in the world. And can some food, because this is a commonest questions, just some questions which I've posed is, these are the mothers will be asking whether it can cause allergy. Yes, some babies can become allergic to cow's milk protein because it's very rich in protein and some of the soya proteins. The common foodstuffs which they can have allergy is like peanuts and some food additives which are added to the foods and spices. Fortunately, in our country, in Indian children, these are very less common when compared to the Western children. So many, because I've worked in UK as well, and I used to see so many children coming with peanut allergy. So this is very common because we introduce our children with early to peanuts, so we never find that much of peanut allergy in our country. But still, these also can cause allergies in children. And if they do have, if the parents have found out that the children are having some allergies, it's better to consult the pediatrician and get it clarified. So in summary, so I'm trying to covers, it's a vast subject. As I said, it is it's very easy to say to mother, give exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months, and after 6 months you can start on complementary feeding. So many questions will be going on in the mother's mind. It's like what to feed, when to feed, how frequently it should be fed, what feeds to be given, can I buy some fruits from outside, can I give this, I'm eating this, is it okay? So many questions will be there in the mother's mind. So I hope I've tried to answer all the questions. So it is not only the breastfeeding, it's very easy to say up to 6 months and then beyond. Sometimes we do forget about mentioning these things. The appropriate time is when the mother comes for immunization for the third dose. That is appropriate time for the mother to counsel, telling that, see, look, your child is growing now, already reached 4.5 months. In another 1.5 months, after completion of 6 months, you should start with a complementary feed, and you can find out what they're eating, what staple food that they're having, and find out from the family what is their normal routine. So from that you can tell like how it should be prepared and given to the child, and how much you can give the mothers. As mothers has got questions, you can answer them. And so at the end, to summarize it, be relaxed, be natural. And all of you heard about 4G, 4G sim, 3G sim, isn't it? 5G. What are these 5G? You to remember. So all the foods, whenever the baby is given, it should include grains, like ragi, wheat, bajra, and rice. Grams like dal, lentils, okay, green gram dal, all these things. Grams should be included. G, you can remember, grains, grams, greens. Greens means green leafy vegetables, and any vegetables which contains fiber and also rich in vitamins. Grape, just I included G there because to say that fruits, so it misses there. So grape means it is not grape, it is fruits. So grains, grams, greens, fruits, and ghee. So to enhance the food quantity or quality of the food, you can add ghee. So it is very easy to remember. See that their foodstuffs contain all these 5 Gs. And the mother, they should play more and more with the children, more interactive, more learning session for both the mother and the child. And it should be very joyful for the mother and the child to interact, and fun to have good food. And it should be very colorful and attractive. The plate should look very colorful, and you can involve the child, telling this, so you have not eaten this orange colored, if there is any carrot or any fruits or papaya or anything, so make them eat like that. So this is way of feeding. So this is one of the small story about, or small journey, how to go about after 6 months in the child. So this is again my beloved madam going to the village level. She used to go to the urban area and rural areas as well. So where the mothers used to get involved, and we used to have a good discussion regarding how to feed their children and what has to be done from the locally available foodstuffs. So this is about the complementary feeding. If any questions are there, I'm happy to take about it. And one more thing I would like to announce at this time is, right now we are having a 7-day course on infant and young child feeding practices at Davangere. It's a 7 days course. Especially most of the nutritionists, most of the pediatricians are also involved this time, and we have only 24 limited seats. And yeah, we are going to complete that course on tomorrow. From Monday it started, from 18th of August till 24th August. So it's a 7 days course, and it is very becoming popular because it involves the breastfeeding and all the problems involved with the breastfeeding, and also the complementary feeding and replacement feeding. So it's a total about nutrition of the child up to 2 years we cover in this course. It's a certified course, and after this course, it is conducted by the BPNI, that is Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India. It's a popular course, and if anyone is interested, most of the dietitians, physiotherapists are coming for this course now. You can uh, you can enroll for this course. Next upcoming course is in Mysore. Already it has been filled up. I think if in January we might take up some courses. So it's in next is in Gorakhpur, next is in Nagpur, and so this year we have filled up all the courses. So if anyone is interested, you can know about this course in detail, and it's very interesting. That's all I can say. And thank you for the opportunity, for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences. If any questions are there, I'm happy to take about. Over to Purnima.
That was really an informative session, ma'am. Students and those who have joined, other than the students, there are few participants joined from NGO, and there are some homemakers who have joined. If you have any queries, you can just get it clarified now. You can just put it in the chat box as well. That was actually a nice session which explained about all sorts of questions actually, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Let me, thank you, ma'am. So let us all have, and I request all the participants to just turn on your camera for a few seconds so that we can capture this moment. I request all the participants to turn on the camera, please. We are waiting for the participants to turn on their cameras. Students, those who have joined, and also the homemakers, those who have joined, and the NGO participants can just turn on your camera to capture this particular moment, please. That's fine. Since it's an online session, most of the students are not in professional attire, it seems. But it's okay. We now invite Ms. Abhinaya to deliver the vote of thanks. Abhinaya from the faculty member from the Department of Food Science and Nutrition will now deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. A warm good afternoon to everyone present here. On behalf of the Department of Food Science and Nutrition, CMS College of Science and Commerce, it is my privilege and honor to deliver the vote of thanks for today's webinar on Prioritize Breastfeeding, Create Sustainable Support System, organized in collaboration with Aahaar Kranti as a part of the World Breastfeeding Week 2025. First and foremost, I thank the Almighty for blessing us with the opportunity and strength to successfully conduct this program. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our respected principal, Dr. Anand sir, for his constant encouragement and support, and to our vice principal of admin, Dr. V. Sujata ma'am, and vice principal of academics, Dr. P. Shalini ma'am, in their absentia, for their valuable guidance in making this event a success. A very special thanks to our distinguished resource persons, Ms. Subhashri, Senior Consultant, Super Bottoms, Bangalore, for her enlightening session on Latch for Life, Strengthening Support for Sustainable Breastfeeding, and Dr. Lata, Professor of Pediatrics, SS Institute of Medical Sciences and Research Center, Karnataka, for her insightful talk on breastfeeding beyond infancy, complementary feeding with the local flavors and benefits. We are truly grateful for both the speakers for their time, expertise, and inspiring words which have broadened our understanding and perspective on sustainable breastfeeding support system. I take this moment to sincerely thank our head of the department, Dr. T. Tilakavati ma'am, for her remarkable leadership and her ever-inspiring encouragement that motivates us to strive for excellence. A special word of appreciation goes to the organizers for their dedicated efforts in planning and executing this program. A warm thanks goes to all the faculty members, students from various colleges, and the students of CMS College of Science and Commerce who have joined us today with such enthusiasm. Last but not the least, I thank each and every one of you present here for making this webinar a meaningful and a successful one. With this, we come to the close of today's session. Let us carry forward the valuable knowledge and insights shared and put them into practice for a healthier tomorrow. Thank you all and wishing you a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, Abhinaya ma'am. Students can fill in the feedback form. Those who attended the session can fill in the feedback form. It will be circulated in the WhatsApp group as well, and it is in the chat box right now. You can make use of it. Just give us the feedback so that the certificate could be possible. Thank you all. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, each and everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dear students, leave the forum after filling the feedback form.